Today I'm going to talk about a program that I just learned about that can help some of you out. Hi there. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm an Associate Broker Residential Sales Manager of ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 177. And how y'all doing today? So today I'm dressed in my red VFW shirt, post 9400, because I spent the morning down at the VA hospital. We had a veteran summer fling, as they call it. Basically, they took the main hallway, lined it up with various booths and whatnot, had some hamburgers and hot dogs at the end of it, and about every nonprofit group in the town had a booth out there trying to get in front of veterans and explaining them what the various organizations did. And having one of those really cool day jobs where I can do stuff like that during the middle of a weekday, I got sort of voluntold that I was going to be doing that. So got to meet a couple people, got to hear some really heart-wrenching stories and situations, but I also was able to direct a couple people in the right direction on that. And I think we got a member or two out of the whole thing. So all in all, we're going to put it in the win column. But what that does mean is I have not had a lot of time to do my homework today. Finally made it into the office about 2 o'clock and reviewed some docs I got sent over last night and realized that the agent on the other side did not explain to his transaction coordinator what Ray had talked to him about, or he decided he was going to put a number or a date down in there anyways and just see if I wouldn't notice it. I notice these things. In fact, this is the second time this agent has done it, so we start moving them over into no longer trust and verify everything. You should always have that trust but verify whenever you have a great conversation with somebody, oh, I'll get that written up and sent over. Always read the docs, because you never know when they're going to do something, forget something. And this is the second time with this one, and I'm a two-strike kind of guy when it comes to these things. So call him up, go, hey, dude, WTF? Oh, she must have put the wrong date down, or I thought it was, yeah, never mind, just get it done right, sent over to me, This is your drama, not my drama. So speaking of drama, there really isn't any. All things considered, got a little bit of the Case-Shiller numbers came in last week. Okay, you know what we say about Case-Shiller, right? They're wrong the day they post, because they look at a 3-month time period 2 months ago. So what you're looking at is numbers that are 5 months old, but they also do year over year. Right, but what it showed is that, Phoenix is like the last place for houses that are gaining in value in that time period, from like February to April, whatever they're talking. But we are on the gaining side. And then your year over the year, which would have been February of 22 to February 23, it shows that February 23 to February of 24. I'm told it's get harder to remember the years the older you get, and I'm starting to realize what they're talking about on that. During that time period, we actually went up 4.8% in appreciation. That means your house, that was worth $100,000, in February of 2023 was now worth $104,800 in 2024. So this is a lot of what I was suggesting could help us get out of our affordability problem. If houses quit increasing at these astronomical rates, right, we're 10, 15, 20% annual, growth, we need that to come down to normal. We need that in the twos, right? And we need interest rates to come down to a relatively normal number. And then the third leg of that stool was going to be, we need payroll to increase. I don't have the charts in front of me, and since I'm pretty much winging this today, remember, those are, if you want affordability, and affordability is we look at a ratio of how much money do you make, how much do the houses cost, right? The farther those are apart, the less affordability we have, right? Two factors that affect your house price, and when I say house price in this case, I mean what is your monthly payment going to be, is going to be the amount you're paying and the interest rate you're being charged, right? Up until the interest rate jump, right, the number one factor of those two was the prices of the houses were going up because the interest rates were stupid low, which means people could pay to get a bigger house, pay more on the price because their mortgage payment was going to be low enough for them to handle. And then, because housing very rarely ever goes down, even when the interest rates spike and buyers stopped buying, all right, houses stayed the same. Now, there are little zip codes out there. There are areas out there where you did see maybe a 1-2% little hiccup. Things did come down a bit, all right, but not enough to get all the gold bugs out there on the internet who's been screaming about the great real estate crash, all right, and they're still waiting for their great real estate crash. Not, it was enough to get them excited, but not enough to get them into the game, all right. So, and that's those two actors. And the third one, the one nobody likes to talk about, all right, except. Actually, this is where it's going to be really weird. The only people who really like to talk about income are those guys out there who are usually running around complaining that CEOs make too much. Notice they never say, let's pay, make sure people are getting paid more. All right. They're always complaining, why are these CEOs getting paid too much? Now, as soon as I said that, I realized we do have an example of what happens when, say, minimum wage suddenly hits $20 for fast food workers. Next thing you know, you don't have a McDonald's on the corner. Looking at you, California. So how do we get these things to to square? Is we need interest rates to come down from where they're at to a level that people are comfortable with. We need home prices to quit growing and maybe start growing at that 2 to 3%, basically match inflation, so people aren't actually losing value in their house. Right? And then we need people to start making more money. All right? Then we might see something come around. Now, do I see this happening anytime soon? Probably not. Probably not. For wages to go up, we're going to need to have a scarcity of labor, so employers have to offer more to get those employees working for them, or to entice those trained employees to move from other companies into your company. All right. And for that kind of happen, you need to sort of have labor shortage. All right. So what does this mean for the near future? Not much. What we need to look at in the near future is that the one thing that is driving our market today is seasonality. All right. Because we are so in the summer. All right. Let's talk summer. Let's talk summer and not that slide. I almost said something obscene, but I can bang this button, all right, trying to get it to respond, and it won't. But I click on the slightest thing, and it'll suddenly decide I want to open up Outlook. Computers, I hate them. All right, so here are the numbers for June 26, 2024. Actives this week are 17,961, up only 47 from last week. It's still going up. It's not going up as fast as it was before. All right, and new listings are 1,852, down 92. Less houses going on the market. All right, our contracts were at 2,200, which is up 115. Okay, and closings last week were 1,654, and coming soon to an MLS near you is 558, which is also less than the week before. So we've hit the summer doldrums. All right, anybody who's going to list their house have listed their house because they've been listening to the real estate agent who said you need to get the house on the market in April and May. All right, because people quit looking. All right, our contracts did go up. And why did our contracts go up? Because the interest rates actually came down a bit. And that gives a whole bunch of people a lot more interested in buying houses. All right, and that gives us Crop Report numbers of our supply is at 74.6, still up, more than the week before. Our demand is at 76.9, all right, which is still down a bit, all right, and that gives us a 103.1. Okay, we are a balanced market in the big picture. Breaking it down to the little picture in our region areas, all right, there's Chandler, 199.2. Right, they're no longer at a true 2-to-1 ratio, all right, but they're still leading the pack, but they're falling. Fountain Hills falling. Avondale's up 2% at 156.7. Tempe is up 147.0. Tempe, you are bipolar. All right. Mesa, Glendale, Gilbert, Phoenix, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, and Peoria are all been dropping, but they're all still sellers markets. All right. Although Peoria, you're right there on the bubble. You might want to do a price break and get under contract in the next week or two before you start looking at serious balance. And then we have Goodyear, all right, is our balanced market. Goodyear at 90. low end of a balance, but they're balanced, right? And then we have Cave Creek coming up to 88.2, and then surprise, Queen Creek, Maricopa still working its way up, are at 67.8, and Buckeyes at the bottom at 63.4. All right, so 4 gainers and a whole lot of losers. All right, so how does this look for you in the big picture? If you, I'm looking, you know, some of the people that I talked to today is organizations that are really leaning into the mom and dad do not have to sell their house. Mom and dad are in a position to sell their house, but how do we make that house more accessible to them? Here's a fun public service announcement, all right? And Dad, if Christy's in the room, please mute this because I'm talking about the VA. All right, so there is a program out there through the Veterans Administration that will grant a veteran up to $7,000 to renovate their home to make it more accessible. That's the wheelchair ramp outside. That's making the doorways bigger so you can get a wheelchair through. That's remodeling the bathroom, taking the tub out and putting a roll-in shower there. Right? This is what accessible is. You go into the kitchen, lower everything down. All right? People respond better and have better health outcomes if they're at home. All right? So let's try to keep people in their homes. So here's some VA money. Never heard of this? Of course not. Right? The reason why nobody's ever heard about this, because all of these great federal programs you never hear about. I don't know why the individual department who's in charge of writing $7,000 checks right there isn't out there on the street corners going, hey, $7,000 worth of free renovation money. You know, call me. But I have my suspicions. All right. So, but I talked to individuals yesterday, introduced to the program. They're partnered with a service that takes care of this. They have the contractors, they have everything else. And this, you know, this is the kind of stuff veterans learn through these meetups like I did today, so we can start spreading the word. All right. I also ran into a real estate agent who's basically trying to work my side of the street. Completely on board. She's using different parts of that need smart sizing. She also sees the need for this people. The house is no longer working for them, and they need to relocate. In many cases, they're elderly. They're incapable of cleaning the house out themselves. They need to locate to a location where, let's say, it's not 2-story because they can't get upstairs anymore. Right, so good to see that there's somebody else out there who is seeing the same problem. Maybe we can get some solutions going on with this, because it's just going to get worse until it gets better. All right. And by the time it starts getting better, well, that's when my generation starts needing these services. So what else do I got going on? A couple court cases at the national level. One of the court, they apparently, Department of Justice they changed the agreement. NAR sued, said, hey, you can't change this agreement. We had an agreement. Department of Justice, came back and said, oh, yeah, we can change anything we want. And apparently some federal court said, oh, yeah, they're the feds. They can, there's no such thing as a contract with feds. So that is back up to appeal. I really think sitting here in June, 27th and everything like this of 2004, that the people involved in this, the Department of Justice is desperately trying to get this thing done before November and January, and NAR and the other, people are desperately trying to push this back past that. Because remember what happened here. There was an agreement. And then an election happened, and all of a sudden, Department of Justice quit picking up the phone. Ghosted. Gone. All on vacation. All right. Then the day after inauguration, all of a sudden they pop up and go, hey, yeah, remember that agreement that we have? Sorry, we haven't been getting your phone calls. But yeah, it's different. We're changing. We're taking it off the board. All right. So this is 4 years ago. So I think what's happening with a lot of this maneuvering and shaking down is one side's trying to get it done before, the election and the inauguration. All right. And the other side is desperately trying to push it back past then. All right. Seeing if we can get the same guys in the Department of Justice who were arguing and negotiating in good faith and get rid of these scrubs. All right. And then go back to talking to the people who actually negotiate in good faith. That might be an opinion. That might be an editorial. Right? I don't know anymore. All right. What I do know is somewhere out there, there's a pool with kids and pets around it. All right. Somebody's not watching the kids or the pets. All right. Don't be one of those people. All right. We got a really good monsoon rain a couple days ago, which means occasionally things are going to be flooded. And I know none of my viewers are going to be driving into those flooded areas. All right. I also know that my viewers are going to be working their circles. Right. And that includes call your mother. All right. And at the end of the day, I hope you guys will have a really great weekend. Thanks. Hopefully I'll have more for you guys to talk about next week. Talk to you later.